Hi boys and girls, this is Miss Campana. I just wanted to start today by just like quickly reviewing what we had done previously in week 1 of 1 point perspective. And now that we're moving on to week 2, we're going to be adding some details. So last time we were together, we created our horizon line, created our point where everything kind of grows from, and then started to create our three-dimensional looking buildings. Now we're going to move on to adding details to make this actually look like a street. The first thing I'd like to do is figure out, I'm going to make street lines. So at a slight angle, I'm going to be making a very light line going down the middle of the page, and it's going to start at that dot, but it's gradually going to get wider towards the bottom, and this line is going to represent the yellow dashes that go along the street. As you can imagine, those yellow dashes start off kind of small and are going to get wider or longer in this case as you move further down the page. So I'm going to kind of let them kind of grow and get a little larger and a little larger and a little larger. So I'm making these kind of double lines, as you can see here. And I'm going to actually zoom in a little bit. And after you double them, you're going to kind of split everything up. So those are kind of separated. So that's my straight line. Then if I wanted to, I could add in a sidewalk, and I'm going to show you how to do that in order to make it look 3D as well. You want to make it look like it's flat, like it's resting straight on the street, like nice and flat on the street. So the way you would do this is, again, we're always starting at that center point and then leading it to wherever you want it to meet at the very end. And I'm going to do the same thing here. You know, and I'm just trying to gauge, like, it should be approximately this wide for the bottom of that building. I'm going to put my ruler now horizontally. And when you see, like, concrete on a street, there's usually, like, little lines in the concrete, like, separating the sections. So what I'm going to do is start to create those horizontal lines that you might find in the concrete. Those horizontal lines will also create the illusion that they are flat and that the sidewalk is resting flat on the ground, and will even further give the illusion that the buildings are popping out. And as we know, as we get closer to the background and farther away from the person viewing the artwork, we want to make our spaces between the lines smaller and smaller and smaller. So I'm kind of just making little dashes. These are an added detail. None of these details are required. Like, you know, your street might not have a sidewalk, but it might have something else. So it depends, you know, how you want to design it. I'm just going to kind of give you a variety, and then you can kind of go off of that. And then here are just very small ones. So I'm just going to make tiny, tiny, tiny little dashes. And of course, when I trace everything, I think I forgot a couple in here. It's going to look a little different. So there's my sidewalk, and it really popped out those buildings now. Now I kind of made them all similar in size. I'm going to spend a little time kind of changing up the buildings, changing up the way everything looks, maybe creating spaces in between them, making some buildings wider, some thinner. The first thing I wanted to do was make this building a little bigger. Just think it'll make it look a little different from the other side of the street. Maybe I'll make this one a little wider. So I'm taking out this line in between. I'm going to show you guys how to make some simple windows. For windows, they all have to be drawn leading to that point up there. So, for example, I'm just going to make a line, top line and a bottom line. And they all touch that center point and kind of go out a little bit at the bottom. So basically what happens is that everything you make is going to look slanted, but it kind of, sorry, it helps kind of continue that illusion that everything is moving backwards. So now I have another building here, and I'm going to add more windows, but maybe I'll make it look much different. I'm going to start by meeting up with that point again. And I don't know, I think I want to make it more the traditional looking window with those kind of T-shaped things going through the middle. Bring that line back. So windows and doors are going to be the most important thing to include on your buildings. I'm not saying every building needs to have windows and doors, but you want to include the most details in the buildings that are closest to us. And as you get farther away and you have these very small buildings, you could just add in like a tiny little door or tiny little windows, you know, and that's how you just kind of create like a small illusion there. Or for example, here, like I might want to open this up. Maybe I want to make a gap in between this building and this building. So what I'll have to do is draw the side of this building here. Just like change it up. And you could put some like side windows in there. You could put a bench. I'm just gonna add some more things. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna continue working on this, and these will be completely straight. As I continue working on this, I'm gonna add in some details, and I'll make sure I take pictures of how I changed things and added different things in. If you want to make your building deeper, you could also do that. Maybe I'll make this one stick out a little further in the back. That's a cool idea. But again, you have to draw now the back of the building. Here we go. It's just kind of like sticking out there. You could draw an awning over like the front of a doorway. All right, sorry it got cut off. So I'm just starting to add an awning. So I made a line using my ruler and I met at that point and I kind of dragged it outward till it met a spot that I thought would look good for an awning if this was like a cool little storefront. And I'm making these little lines go angled. I think I want to make it like striped, which I think would be really cute because it might look, I don't know, like a little bakery or something, or a little bistro. I don't know. I'm kind of like inventing this whole little village. And I want you to do the same. I want you to make it a cool little place that you're kind of gonna invent yourself. And I'm gonna imagine there's a doorway underneath there. Underneath that awning. Kind of bumping it out with a little triangle. Oh, there it is. So there's my little bakery. And you know, my city is starting to kind of grow. We're focusing on this street here. I'm not really adding anything back here. Maybe at some point I'll add in some trees just for like fluff. By the end of this week, I expect there to be windows and doors at a minimum. If you're older and in maybe middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and maybe even my 5th graders, I'm expecting more details. Change up the shapes of the windows, some awnings, different shaped doors. You could add in a sidewalk. You might add even in little trees going along the street. Those are the details I'm expecting. We'll probably put a little sunrise in the background with some clouds or something like that. But that's really what I'm expecting. Windows, doors, and other small details that you would see along any city street. I'm going to continue this and I will post a photo of my penciled in drawing. And that's where I expect you to be by the end of this week. Next week, we're going to talk about tracing and adding color. All right, boys and girls, I'll talk to you soon.